remember the night everything changed. The night that taught me that trust can sometimes be just another word people use when they're planning to betray you. I'm saying this now because I wish someone had told me sooner. If your partner ever sits down with you, looks you in the eyes and says they want to test your trust, don't hesitate, don't reason, just walk away. Because what comes after that sentence is never love. It's the beginning of manipulation dressed as virtue that I learned that the hard way. My ex-fiancé Daniel and I had been together for nearly 4 years. We were engaged, living together, building what I thought was a quiet, honest life. We didn't have a wedding date yet, but we had plans, savings, dreams, a shared home filled with small, ordinary happiness. And I truly believed we trusted each other. Until that day that he came home looking too serious, the kind of serious that doesn't bring good news. He sat across from me, like he was about to make some grand announcement. "Do you trust me?" he asked. I smiled. I didn't even think twice. "Of course I do," I said. He smiled too, but it wasn't the kind that makes you feel safe. It was the kind that hides a secret. "I'm glad you said that," he said softly, "because I want to prove to ourselves that we truly trust each other." My heart sank immediately. Whenever someone says they want to prove something in love, it's because they already plan to break it. "I want to take a trip," he continued. "With a friend." I remember my body going cold. I asked who. He hesitated for just a second. "With Sophia." Sophia. His ex. The one he swore was just a chapter from his past. The one who cheated on him years ago, the one he used to call a mistake. "I promised her once," he said, "back when we were together, that we'd take this trip one day. Never happened. Now the chance has come up, and I think it's important to keep my word." I couldn't even speak for a few seconds. It was like my mind was trying to make sense of a nightmare. Then I said quietly, "Then you go. But don't come back." He blinked at me, confused. "You don't trust me?" he asked. "I did," I said. "But the moment you decided to test it, you destroyed it." He called me immature, dramatic, insecure. Said it was just a trip. But deep down we both knew it wasn't. It was a door he'd already chosen to walk through. So I packed my things and left before he could. I refused to be the woman who waited for betrayal to return home. 2 days later, while he was still gone, my phone buzzed. A message from him. "So you blocked me? How immature." Anyway, we arrived safely. "Don't worry, we're sleeping in separate rooms." Came with a photo of the hotel. That fake, curated normality made my stomach twist. I blocked him again and moved on. When he came back, I was gone. New apartment, new life. But that didn't stop him. He showed up at my door pretending to care, saying I was overreacting, that it was just a misunderstanding. When I told him again that we were done, he laughed. Then, he started shouting things outside my building, trying to make me the villain in his story. Eventually, security escorted him away. But I knew that wouldn't be the end. A week later, he sent a message from a new number. It said, "If you keep ignoring me, I'll talk to your parents." I told him to go ahead. And he did. He showed up at my mother's house crying, saying he'd made a mistake, saying I was being cruel. My mother listened for a few minutes, then told him, "You had her trust. You destroyed it yourself. Now leave." He didn't expect that. He left humiliated that I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. A month later, he came back again. This time he looked nervous. He asked to talk privately, just a few minutes. Against my better judgment, I let him in. He sat there for a long time, staring at the floor. Then he looked up and said, "I'm going to be a father." I didn't react. I just waited. "It's yours," he added. "We should be together for the baby's sake. We can still fix things." I almost laughed. "You want me to believe that after everything?" I said. "You went on a trip with your ex, came back, and now you're pregnant, and you expect me to take your word for it?" He frowned. "Nothing happened," he said. "You have to trust me." There it was again. That same phrase. "Trust me." I told him if he wanted me to believe a word of it, we'd do a DNA test. His face changed completely. "How can you ask me that?" he said. "You used to believe in me." "I used to," I said, "until you gave me a reason not to." He stood up, slammed his hand on the table, called me a coward, said I'd regret it. Then he stormed out, slamming the door so hard it shook the walls. A week later, I got an official letter. A court summons. He'd filed a lawsuit, claimed that I'd abandoned him, that I was responsible for his child. I showed up with my lawyer. He was there holding the baby. He looked smaller somehow, unsure. The judge asked him to confirm his claim, and he told his rehearsed story about love, trust, and betrayal. When it was my turn, I told the truth, the whole thing. The trip, the ex, the lies, the manipulation. The judge listened, then said calmly, "We'll settle this scientifically. A DNA test." When he heard that, his face went pale. His hands started trembling. And in that moment I knew. He wasn't afraid of me. He was afraid of the truth. Weeks passed. When the results came back, the judge opened the envelope, read silently, then said, "The result is negative. There is no biological link." He didn't even try to fake surprise. He just stared at the floor, holding the baby that wasn't mine. For the first time, I didn't feel anger. Just relief. My lawyer advised me to file a countersuit for defamation, for emotional damage, for trying to trap me in her lies. I did. The case took months, but eventually justice came. The court ruled in my favor. He had to pay a fine, cover part of my legal costs, and his reputation shattered publicly. I heard later that his ex, the real father, had vanished abroad, leaving him alone with the mess he'd created. His parents took the baby in because he couldn't manage. He lost his job, his friends, his image. As for me, I sold the engagement ring to pay for my lawyer. I moved cities. Started over. I don't hate him. Not anymore. I just see him for what he was, a lesson. A painful, expensive one. So, if you're listening to this and someone ever tells you they want to test your trust, remember my story. What they really mean is they're about to betray you. And the only test you need is how quickly you walk away.